he's not the player that he looked like he was going to be. He's plateaued, hasn't he?
He has, but before you have a look at Sam Reid, can we just take a look at the contested mark figures, because that will probably tell us a little bit more about it. There's Cloak, 13 at the top, Nick Riewoldt, Pike, good company for Mike Pike,
yep.
Howe and Kennedy, and you'd expect Sam Reid to be in that group.
If the Swans had a representative there, you'd think it'd be Reid. Yeah.
Clokey's been the #1 contested mark player for the last 3 years, and Podsy, Adley and Hawkins are generally up there. But you go back to Sam Reid, don't forget he's only 21,
yep.
and he's only played 50 games, so he's still learning the game. He gets quality opponents each week that he plays, but his marking is a problem because he gets his hands to it, but he just doesn't hold them.
He's lost that. Well, I don't know if it's confidence. That's another. Well, I mean, he knows his players in the vicinity, but he would have swallowed that in 12 months ago.
Confidence. He'd be expecting the spoil to come, and so he's not timid, but he's just hasn't got the confidence. I reckon you do a couple of things, Gerard.
There's the comparison, Woolsey.
Yeah, well, have a look at that. You can see last year between rounds 8 and round 17, games 9, and how many marks he took? 34 marks inside 50, 15, and compare that to this year. He's well down.
21 goals down to 9.
Yeah, but I reckon what you do with a player who's confident, marking confidence is down, you just kick a lot of balls to him without an opponent, so he's getting the feeling of marking it. Then give him an opponent who's about 6 inches shorter, so he's still going to be able to outmark most of the time, and pick his confidence up, and then someone about the same size, so, you know, it's the real deal, but just gradually pick his confidence up in that situation.
Without overstating it, the history and the story of Mike Pike just continues to unfold. I thought he probably reached his zenith last year in the grand final, but he continues to get better and better as a player. The problem they've got right now, the Swans, is their outside runner, their specialist in Lewis. Jetta lacked a little bit of rebound off the half-back, but Jetta's numbers are starting to get scary. Last year in 2012, the scoreboard impact was 11 goals to between rounds 1 and 4. At the moment, he's just hit the scoreboard twice. His possession rate is down, his inside 50s are down, and his contested possessions in particular are down.
Well, he's paying the price for becoming a good player. And
he's not working as hard as he did last year.
Well, I haven't seen enough of him that way, but there's no doubt the opposition would go out and target him, whereas 12 months ago they weren't. It was Jack and it was Kennedy and you know, all of those terrific midfielders, but now he's getting good attention.
Just on the Swans, Mike, is your theory that the Swans are 4 or 5 weeks away from reaching their best, or were they at their best and they were just taken to the cleaners by these really talented side?
We know traditionally they ease into a season, don't they? But I think of the way they dismantled North, we thought they were probably more advanced than they were going to be. But their tall blokes aren't kicking their goals. If the midfielders don't get them, they don't score well enough.
No, their midfielders have been getting the bulk of the goals.
I reckon Roosie would have had a heart attack at quarter time, though. Mike.
15 goals in a quarter.
15 goals in a quarter. Yeah. That is
Did
just,
you enjoy it?
I loved it.
Loved it. It was a fantastic quarter.
It was. Well, I'm just not sure it could be kept up, and certainly the coaches weren't going to let it be kept up.
The tall blokes is becoming a greater problem. LRT has hurt his knee. I think he's had minor surgery, but he's going to be 4 to 6 weeks. He's an underrated player, this bloke, and when he goes out, it throws their balance out a bit, doesn't it?
Well, he goes for his marks. He goes for his marks.
And he kicks his goals.
Harry Taylor goes for his marks, and that's what I like. Gerard, a week ago I said Geelong was running at about 60%.
Yeah.
I'd like to say this week I think they're going at about 90.
And they're being led brilliantly. They've got a bit of yin and yang going at the present time, both Selwood and Stephen Motlop. Their games on the weekend were exhilarating. Selwood was great. I think everybody has spoken about his third quarter where he got 7 possessions and he was involved in 6 scoring involvements. But he is just a magnificent player to watch.
Lee Matthews described him on Saturday as the closest thing he's seen to Michael Voss, and that's the ultimate accolade from Lee. Yeah.